Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. And a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and Watching World this morning.
The topic of this particular segment, and that is very close to our hearts because we have been talking about the justice and the mechanisms through which the justice is dispensed. And we have seen that how in Pakistan there is a huge backlog of cases and there has been a lot of debates how to improve that. And we do have some success stories from the branch of judiciary as to how we can dispense the justice, that too in a speedy way, because there's a famous maxim, justice delayed is justice denied, right? So we have someone, an expert in the studio, who is going to shed the light on the mechanisms through which the speedy justice can be delayed, and he has been working with the justice systems of a lot of other countries and even vast experience. He accumulated his experiences in that, and he's going to shine some very important light on how we can dispense justice, that too in a speedy way. So without any further ado, we are very glad that we have been once again joined by Almas Ali Jonvindah Sahab, who happens to be the Executive Secretary General of the OIC Ombudsman. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Walaikum assalam.
So first of all, congratulations to you, for becoming the Executive Secretary General OIC Ombudsman. You are the Executive Secretary General of all the 14 Ombudsmen over here as well. So congratulations are in order.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for taking our time. But very quickly, sir, I want to get started with, in remarkable time period, you've managed to kind of make sure that you dispense justice in 350,000 cases with 14 ombudsmen all over Pakistan. How did you do that? That's a remarkable job done.
Thank you very much. See, this is very important, Shahzad, that in the Committee of the World, among 200 plus countries, you need to stand out with certain good institutions. No country in the world without good institutions. You cannot really say, okay, this is the country which stands out for multiple things if the institutions are not right.
True.
Institutions give right signals of credibility, reliability to the world community, and this is where the people are attracted towards that country. Unfortunately, over here, we could not identify certain institution which we can say, okay, this is the institution we take pride in. This is the institution where we stand out among the world community. When it comes to the justice, unfortunately, the World Justice Program ranked Pakistan at 130th among 142 countries. Among 142, 130th. And we have, as you rightly said, justice delayed. Sometime it is not the matter of the years, it's like decades, you don't get justice and all that. True. And it is very expensive, and people, they get frustrated with that. On the parallel, we have Ombudsman institution here in Pakistan, and it is the best example, and I take pride in telling people today that this institution is the one institution which stands out for Pakistan. And when we go to the world community and we say what we have achieved here in Pakistan in all the provinces at the federal level, people, they refer us, they ask us to tell that success story to the world community. And I need to share this success story with the Pakistani people also. The backlog of the cases with the regular courts is around 2.4 million cases. Right now, the 2.4 million cases, these are standing with the lower judiciary and the high judiciary. And on the parallel, the ombudsmen, 14 ombudsmen here in Pakistan, the 5 at the federal level and all the provincial ombudsmen together, they disposed of 350,000 cases in last 1 year, and amazingly, with zero cost, Shahzad, zero cost, no, not a single.
And sir, what are you doing differently that you are so successful in dispensing the justice, that too speedily and in a very short period of time?
That too within 60 days.
Hajra, leadership, willpower. This is, there was a time I used to get frustrated that things cannot happen here in Pakistan. But now I'm a very strong believer, if there is a right leadership within that institution, and you have a vision and the willpower, you can do it. I give you an example that we started with Federal Tax Ombudsman, and Dr. Asif Bambuja is the Federal Tax Ombudsman, and he had the background of taxation. Now, a lot of people are in different institutions and they are not right man for the right job. Unless until you do not identify right people for the right job, you will not be able to have that success within the institution. True. So that Dr. Asif Bambuja had an experience of taxation, 30 years service with the customs and all that. When he became federal tax ombudsman, we started introducing reforms, innovation, and not only that, actually, we recruited people who had those expertise. You know, instead you come up with the new people who do not have any experience in the past of that particular area. You tell them, okay, this is, you have to adjudicate, and dispensation of justice is delayed because he himself is learning. He doesn't know much about what he is dispensing about. So we recruited people who were the best in the service, and the result was, with the federal tax ombudsman, not in a single year in last 22 years, more than 2,000 cases were resolved. This year we resolved 8,000 cases, and look at the number that increased. Reason being, we had the right people for the right
But
job.
sir, in addition to this, you know, so I'm very sorry, but I think I really need to hit the nail on the head as well. We, alhamdulillah, the way, I don't know whether I should say alhamdulillah or not, but the way that we've actually been nurtured or nourished in this country, unfortunately, we do, you know, get ways of going around things as well. You know, so for somebody who's not an expert, you know, is already being hired as well, might fall prey to probably 200,000 rupees, 500,000 rupees, or whatever the problem might be. How do you think that you've been successful and lucky enough to make sure that that you really didn't get the let the menace of bribery get into it?
This is very important. You know, with the Ombudsman offices, it is the maladministration of public functionaries. So all those, I strongly believe, Shahzad, we do not need NAB here in Pakistan. We do not need anti-corruption department here in Pakistan, because they have not delivered. I mean, let's have a comparison. Look at the statistics, what we have achieved in last 1 year and what these two institutions have. They also deal with the maladministration of the public functions, but we are able to do. Now, the people that we deal with are advisors who adjudicate. As I said, they all have a background, professional background within their own specialized areas. They are not given 200 days or the 300 days to adjudicate, maximum 60 days. You have to do within the 60 days. We do not provide them a space that somebody get into it, approach them and all that. Our monitoring is very strong. You know, there's a guy who does the adjudication. He completes it within 30-35 days and all that. He sends his recommendation, collecting all the evidence and all that. Now there is a second tier. Second tier is evaluation. It is altogether a separate event, secluded from the first one. They assess the evidence, the facts, and then they say, okay, has he concluded something right or wrong? Then it is the ombudsman. So there are three different tiers. If something has happened at the first tier where there's an exposure, we have two more tiers. None of the judiciary they do. They take it to the appeal level and the further appeal level. Within our own system, we have such a good system evolved. See, innovation is required.
But sir, I think I'm very interested in exploring and dissecting the concept that you are talking about, and you are alluding to the concept that there is no politicization and leakage of the system is very minimal in your ombudsman institution. And I would really want to explore that. How did you make that happen? Because when we talk about judiciary, when we talk about other institutions, I mean, believe it or not, because we are living in a third world countries, and this is the problem of the third world countries, that there is a lot of red tapeism. There is a lot of, I would say, leakages of the system. There's a lot of politicization going on, and I mean, public functionaries, they're also at the helm of the top bosses, the political bosses, and as soon as the political party changes, democracy changes, we see that there's
the entire mechanism changes.
Overhaul in the system, of course, and every new government has its own vision of doing the thing. So how do you keep or protect yourself from this, you know, entire
and before you answer
shielded,
it,
right?
And before you answer it, I think for anybody who's at NAB, you know, and if you didn't feel great about his remarks, these are his remarks as well. You can get in touch with Almas.
Definitely. The laws are required. Basically, you draw that strength and power from the laws. So our autonomy, all the ombudsmen are very autonomous. You know, once they are appointed, they are given a term of 4 years, and they cannot be removed by any political government. You have
why can't they be removed by any political government?
They've been appointed. This is, we call the constitutional post, which has been created through the constitution. And once an ombudsman is appointed, to remove that, it is exactly the procedure. You remove the judge of a Supreme Court, which is very tough. This gives them autonomy. Now it is for the ombudsman how he draws power with that. There are ombudsmen who succumb to the system and all that. But I give you an example. We have some amazing ombudsmen, and together we work. Like I give you an example, as I mentioned, Dr. Asif Jah, Mr. Ijaz Qureshi is the federal ombudsman. Then I give you an example within the Punjab, Major Azam Suleiman, he was the chief secretary and then he became the ombudsman. What a remarkable personality he was, towering personality. And he said, okay, no interference at all. See, we have the power of a judge of a Supreme Court at the federal level and the judge of a high court, and anybody who interfere with our system, we have the power of a contempt of a court. We can send them to the jail for the 6 months. And I tell you, let me quote you an example. There was a judge, chief justice of a high court, which tried to intervene with one of the federal ombudsmen.
All right.
That federal ombudsman issued arrest warrant for the chief justice of one of the high court. I'm giving you, this is what has happened. These are the power. No, it's for the ombudsman how they exercise it.
Right.
So if there are powerful ombudsmen and they say, okay, give me an opportunity. I want to revamp all these institutions because these are the public functionaries.
True.
I have served there 30 years.
True.
I know what are the bottlenecks. I can handle them better. And I tell you, you ask me, how do we do it? See, the backlog of 2.4 million cases over here, Turkey had more or less similar. 3 million cases, they had a backlog. They introduced alternate dispute resolution over there. They said it's a very important.
We have introduced it, sir.
No, this is the tragedy. You know, over here, this has been talked about at all the forums.
Yep.
The Supreme Court and the High Court, they try to introduce it. The lower courts, the law were evolved.
True.
But
we had trainers come in from other countries.
It could never take off. It could never take off. But what has happened, Shahzad, we introduced this at the Ombudsman level.
Yep.
Because the provision was there. It was never invoked in last 20 years. We invoked it. The alternate dispute resolution says, okay, before you go to the regular investigation, look at the complaint. And if you think this complaint can be resolved with the mere intervention, calling the concerned commissioner and the collector or the deputy commissioner, telling him, look, this is your inspector who is doing it. I provide you an opportunity. I forward you this complaint. Resolve this in a 1 or 2 day. We at Federal Tax Ombudsman resolved 1,100 cases in last few months.
Wow.
Overall in Pakistan, we have resolved more than 5,000 cases through alternate dispute resolution. And let me go back to the Turkey. 3 million cases of those were the backlog. You know, there are again, it's for all of us to understand, there are three different types of disputes between the individuals, the organization. Then there are the crime against the individuals or the state and all that. And then there is a maladministration or the corruption of the public functioning. Only 3 types. Now, if there are disputes between individuals and the corporation, those need to be resolved through alternate dispute resolution.
True.
Why to overburden the courts with that? Turkey resolved those 3 million cases in 4 years through ADR. They introduced the ADR cases. If they can do it, why can't we do it? Now, in Pakistan, we are the only success story with the Ombudsman institution where the ADR has taken off and we are.
Alhamdulillah, sir. Alhamdulillah, and congratulations. And obviously, credit is due where it's due, and we certainly need to give them credit as well. But there's another credit which is due, and that is that the Ombudsman actually launched the largest program, or the biggest program rather, if I stand correct, is for internship of people as well, not just away in Pakistan, but you're sending children abroad to the OIC member countries as well to go and do their internships. How did you come up with this idea?
Shahzad, this is very important. I believe the future lies with my youth. You know, it is for us to give them a way, to show them a direction, to train them. And I strongly believe I need to build institutions here in Pakistan. As we today take pride of Ombudsman institution here in Pakistan and internationally. I say our reputation stand at the highest pedestal internationally. What we did over here was that we introduced internship program with Federal Tax Ombudsman and then with all the Ombudsmen here in Pakistan. This year, we have 70 interns working with Federal Tax Ombudsman across the country today, 70. Those who have been trained by us, we launched the concept with OIC. I being the executive secretary of OIC Ombudsman, I went to the board, I said, listen, these are the best students. I need to send them to the OIC countries, and not only to send those to the countries, I need to bring their interns here in Pakistan. Let's do an exchange program. I had 2 visions. Number 1, My students will go internationally, will get exposure with the top institutions in the world. Now, this doesn't happen. The institution from the interns from Pakistan, there is an institutional exchange, like one university to another university, but they hardly get a chance to work with the top institution. Two of the interns recently, they went to Morocco. They work with the mediator office of Morocco, and that is the top institution for 3 weeks. They have completed the internship, got back. I would really desire you interview them someday and ask them what was the experience with them. And now we are expecting interns from Morocco to come here, from Bahrain to come here, from Turkey to come here. And we are going to send more students to Bahrain, Turkey in near future. And only yesterday we had 6 interns from Indonesia who joined us, and we are, so this is, now what is going to happen? Providing them international opportunity, but at the same time I'm promoting my culture, history, I'm promoting Pakistan in those countries.
And that's exactly what we want as well.
Certainly no one can deny the cross-cultural exchanges that it brings, and the cultural exchange, and how you are the soft representative of your country. And I think we always encourage going abroad. Why? Because that broadens your horizon, and you're able to grasp a lot of new things from a different civilization, and able to give them back as an, I would say, international citizen, right? Because we are living in a very globalized world.
True.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming here.
My
for
pleasure.
shedding light on some wonderful institutional reforms that you introduced, and you talked about the success story of an institution. And as a PTV, as a state broadcaster, we always give voices to such sort of success stories that we feel are true representative of our country. After a short break, we will come back, and we have an interesting discussion lined up. Don't go anywhere.
It's all about security, right? Good morning.